There is a moment when the idea of money quietly shifts from survival to strategy. It often arrives late at night after a long day of work when you realize that no matter how hard you try, your time is finite. You can earn more by working more, but only up to a point. And it is in this realization that the concept of passive income begins to feel less like a luxury and more like a necessity. The books that truly teach passive income do not promise escape from work. They promise relief from dependence. They are not about doing nothing. They are about building systems that continue working when you cannot. Most people misunderstand passive income because they encounter it through exaggeration. Social media sells it as effortless wealth, as income earned while sleeping on a beach somewhere, far from responsibility. The best books dismantle this fantasy immediately. They explain that passive income is front-loaded effort paired with long-term patience. You work harder before you work easier. You design before you delegate. You build before you benefit. This framing alone separates serious readers from hopeful dreamers. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki introduces a deceptively simple idea. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out. This distinction is not accounting, it is mindset. Passive income begins when you stop asking how much you earn and start asking how your money behaves when you stop working. Kiyosaki's lesson is not about real estate or businesses specifically. It is about shifting focus from income to systems. Once you see money as a tool that can be deployed rather than a reward for effort, the door to passive income opens. Then there are books like The 4-Hour Workweek, often misunderstood for its title rather than its content. Beneath the headline is a serious idea: leverage. Tim Ferriss does not argue that work disappears. He argues that poorly designed work dominates our lives. By outsourcing low-value tasks, creating scalable products, and building systems that do not require constant attention, income becomes less tied to hours. The book's lasting contribution is not the promise of freedom, but the insistence that design matters. Passive income is not accidental, it is engineered. As you read deeper into the genre, a common pattern emerges. Passive income is rarely passive at first. Books like The $100 Startup show how small, focused projects, digital products, niche services, content paired with distribution can evolve into income streams that require maintenance rather than constant creation. The power here is not in size, but in ownership. When you own the asset, effort compounds. When you rent your time, it resets every morning. Another theme repeated across serious passive income books is patience. Income streams mature slowly. Royalties, dividends, rental income, content monetization all reward consistency over intensity. The books are honest about the waiting. They warn that early months feel discouraging, even humiliating. You build while no one notices. You publish while no one reads. You invest while results remain invisible. Passive income books are as much about emotional endurance as they are about strategy. What these books also clarify is that passive income reduces risk by diversification, not by avoidance. Relying on a single paycheck is itself risky. Passive income spreads dependence across multiple sources. A dividend portfolio, a rental property, a digital product, a licensing deal, each may fluctuate, but together they create resilience. This is why passive income is not just a wealth concept. It is a security concept. You are not trying to eliminate work. You are trying to ensure that no single failure can undo you. One of the most sobering lessons in these books is the importance of alignment. Passive income streams that conflict with your values or lifestyle quickly become burdens. A rental property that consumes your peace is not passive. A business that demands constant crisis management is not freedom. The best authors stress fit over fantasy. They encourage readers to build income streams that complement their temperament, skills, and patience. Passive income works best when it feels sustainable, not heroic. As you absorb these lessons, another truth becomes unavoidable. Passive income requires responsibility at a higher level. You are no longer just a worker, you are an owner. Owners must think in systems, manage risk, reinvest wisely, and accept delayed gratification. The books that matter do not hide this. They emphasize accounting, legal structure, and long-term planning because passive income that is poorly managed becomes fragile quickly. Freedom without structure collapses under its own weight. Over time, readers begin to see that passive income is not about escaping effort. It is about choosing where effort goes. Instead of expending energy endlessly on tasks that vanish at the end of the day, you invest effort into assets that persist. This shift changes how you see time. Hours become seeds, work becomes planting, and patience becomes the most valuable skill of all. Perhaps the most powerful message hidden in these books is that passive income changes your relationship with choice. When income is no longer entirely dependent on your presence, you gain negotiating power with employers, with clients, with life itself. You can say no more easily. You can take risks more thoughtfully. You can endure uncertainty without panic. Passive income does not guarantee wealth, but it does create margin, and margin is where freedom lives. As the ideas settle, you begin to understand why passive income has become such a defining theme of modern financial literature. In a world of volatility, automation, and rapid change, relying solely on active income is increasingly fragile. The books do not promise certainty. They promise adaptability. They show that building even a small stream of passive income can change how you experience work, stress, and time itself. And this is where the story begins to deepen, because once you accept that passive income is not magic but method, not escape but design, the question shifts from which passive income idea should I try to something far more important. What kind of life am I trying to support with these systems? It is at this point that the books move beyond tactics and into philosophy, revealing how passive income, when built intentionally, becomes not just a financial tool, but a way of reclaiming agency over your time, your energy, and your future. And this is where the next chapter truly begins, as we explore how people translate these ideas into concrete paths, avoid the most common traps, and build passive income streams that last beyond trends, carrying them forward with quiet consistency like a river that no longer rushes, but deepens as it moves. And this is where the promise of passive income finally becomes grounded in reality, not as a fantasy of effortlessness, but as a practice of design, restraint, and long-term thinking. In the second half of the journey, the books begin to warn as much as they inspire. They explain that the most common failure in passive income is not choosing the wrong vehicle, but choosing it for the wrong reason. People chase streams instead of systems. They pursue trends instead of principles. They confuse hands-off with hands-free. The authors who matter insist on a harder truth. Every passive income stream requires stewardship. The question is not whether you will work, but when you will work and whether that work compounds or evaporates. Serious books return again and again to the idea of durability. A passive income stream that survives boredom, market shifts, and personal fatigue is worth far more than one that promises fast returns. Dividends endure because businesses endure. Rental income lasts because shelter is timeless. Content compounds because human curiosity renews. The lesson is not to copy tactics, but to align with forces that persist. When you choose durability, patience stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like strategy. Another lesson that sharpens here is sequencing. The books show that passive income works best when built on an active foundation. Skills first, savings next, systems last. Trying to leapfrog directly to passivity without capacity leads to fragility. Authors emphasize building earning power, then converting surplus into assets that produce. This sequencing preserves dignity and reduces risk. You are not escaping work. You are upgrading it. As systems mature, the role of reinvestment becomes central. Passive income that is consumed too early starves itself. The books encourage a gardener's mindset: prune, reinvest, protect the roots. Dividends are reinvested before they are spent. Profits are used to improve systems before they are enjoyed. This discipline is what turns small streams into rivers over time. It is also what separates builders from consumers. Then comes the quiet shift in identity. You stop thinking like an earner and start thinking like an allocator. Decisions revolve around where to place attention, capital, and time for the highest long-term return, not just financially, but emotionally. A stream that pays well but drains your peace is downgraded. A stream that grows slowly but fits your life is protected. The books teach that the ultimate metric is not yield, but sustainability. With sustainability comes optionality. Passive income does not remove uncertainty. It gives you room inside it. You can negotiate differently. You can rest without panic. You can choose projects for alignment instead of desperation. This optionality is the real power. It changes how you show up to work and to life. Pressure eases. Perspective widens. Decisions slow down and improve. At this point, the authors turn philosophical. They argue that passive income is not about money replacing meaning. It is about money supporting meaning. Systems free time, but time must be used well. The danger is not idleness. It is emptiness. The best books encourage readers to define what they will move toward, not just what they will move away from. Passive income becomes a platform for contribution, learning, family, creativity, or health, whatever you choose to build next. And so the story closes not with a checklist, but with a posture. Build patiently, choose durability, design for stewardship, reinvest early, align with your life, accept responsibility. When you do, passive income stops being a trick and becomes a companion, quiet, reliable, and increasingly powerful with time. If this story resonated with you, pause and ask yourself which effort you could redirect today from short-lived tasks into long-lived assets. Share that reflection. And if you want to continue exploring how books, systems, and long-term thinking can help you reclaim time without losing purpose, stay connected. Subscribe, follow, and return. Because the real power of passive income is not that it pays you while you sleep, it's that it gives you the freedom to wake up and choose what matters most.